Sorry about that, y'all. Oh my eyes bugging me a little bit. Hey there, welcome back to the Burt Armory. If you're watching this, you may be watching either the first or second episode that has been distributed this week. The only person that knows if this is the first or second episode is me, because it's my channel and I'm the one to make the episodes. So I decide what comes out. So this may be the first episode. This may be the second one. Who knows? Again, I'm the only person that knows. Okay. So for today's episode, we're going to talk about kind of a new player in the game, essentially. In this game that I'm referring to has just kind of been the legal, kind of trying to figure out what the legal issue around this is, and how and why. So this video, we're talking about FRTs, or force reset triggers, the what behind them and the why behind how they're gaining so much popularity, especially in these last couple of years. But to kind of start off a little bit, we got to talk about really two predecessors to the FRTs, force reset triggers, or WOTs, wide open triggers. Back in the mid 10s, I'd say, probably the mid 10s, maybe the mid or late 10s, really, probably mid to late 10s, I'd say. Enthusiasts, 2A enthusiasts, started kind of exploring ways to simulate automatic fire or simulate what are deemed as machine guns by the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau, or however you want to say it. Because again, us as civilians, U.S. civilians, unless we were in the military and or have a FFL Class 3 with an SOT to be able to carry fully automatic machine guns, none of us will ever be able to experience firing a fully automatic machine gun. That's just, unfortunately, the way that the law works, thanks to really the NFA law of 1934, as well as the NFA law of 1986 that banned all sales of machine guns before 1986, and thus leaving us civilians without a chance to experience fully automatic weapons. Now, again, we're talking the mid 2000s, mid 2010s, late 2010s, where enthusiasts have started finding ways to be able to give the civilian market that chance to experience fully automatic fire. The first of these, of course, are known as binary triggers. Okay. So basically, how a binary works in a sense is that you fire the gun twice per trigger cycle. So once it's pulled, and then again when it's released. Okay. So it's like two consecutive semi-auto shots. Not really simulating automatic fire, but again, it shows that it doesn't simulate automatic fire because it's literally you pull the trigger. There's a break that the trigger goes into, a wall break, and then you release that trigger, and then another shot fires. Pull it, release, pull, release, pull, release. Binary triggers have become very popular nowadays. They're kind of I'd say the cheaper option of the two other players in the market. And the best part about it is it's just literally a trigger swap. So it's most times it's drop-in trigger. Franklin Armory is a great example of this. They are considered the leading manufacturer of all binary triggers. Just because that's been their thing. That's why this company was created. AR-15s, AKs, even an ACR. If you have an ACR still, I know there's still some people in 2026 that have an ACR. Shout out Bushmaster, Remington Arms. Hurry up and bring them ACRs back. We are literally almost living through Modern Warfare 2 right now. Technically Modern Warfare 3, if you want to bring back the 6.8 ACR. But that's what Franklin Armory has. They have nothing but binaries. So again, it's kind of on the cheaper end of the other options. So you've got binary triggers, and then of course you've got bump stocks. Now, what bump stocks are essentially is it just assists in firing in semi-automatic. You just replace the butt stock you have in your AR-15 with a bump stock, and so it's basically just using the recoil of the AR to help simulate that automatic fire. So it's literally here, and then you pull it, brings that, pulls it back, forward, so forth and so on. The controversy with bump stocks came when the mass shooting happened in Las Vegas, where the gunmen used many ARs that had bump stocks on them to be able to sustain what some deemed was automatic fire. Of course, in actuality, he was just simply using a bump stock where it just simulated the recoil from the gun and just simulated that automatic fire. What also made it controversial is that he was extremely accurate with it, which bump stocks are not very accurate just because when you're shooting, the recoil is going in your shoulder. So you literally have to stabilize your AR on a brace or something because of the constant motion back and forth with a bump stock. And so he was able to cause massive damage, over hundreds of injuries, casualties, and was able to do all that with a bump stock. So, of course, the ATF banned that in 2020 or 21. So this was probably 3 or 4 years after that tragedy occurred. So they banned it, but then 2A enthusiasts decided, you know what? We're going to try to figure out ways to get around this. And so in 2024, so depending on what part of the year, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the bump stock, saying that they are not considered machine guns or help in the creation of machine guns because it's a separate thing. Nothing's being really changed in the gun other than just a stock, and it's still keeping everything else legal. Mind you, it is very illegal. I'm saying this right now. It is highly illegal for a civilian, even a Class 3 FFL, to modify a firearm to become fully automatic. Okay? You may see out there are M16 sear parts where you can change out your AR-15. No. Even then, those parts aren't compatible. Okay? A lot of times when you see those M16 exchange parts for sears or whatever, it's literally for pre-1986 M16s. So that they do have full auto. So when you insert them, you do have full auto capability. You can't theoretically put it in a current AR because then you turn that into a felony. It's weird, but because you're changing the sear pin that is in current AR-15s, which don't allow for fully automatic fire, there's a reason why all AR-15s are two position, so safe and then semi. It's because there's a sear pin in there that prevents it from being taken out. So now, if you were to take that sear pin out, now you'd have a third selection that could be automatic. Okay? So, it is highly illegal to modify your AR-15 into an automatic firing rifle, or it at this point is deemed a machine gun, which is crazy that people don't know what the definition of machine gun is, even in U.S. law. But at that point, it becomes an automatic weapon. So, bump stocks and binary triggers helped pave the way for this last player in the game that's on the market right now. And it's probably the most popular one because now you have any and everybody that are doing it. You got companies like Rare Breed, who also went through their own lawsuit with the U.S. government and won, by the way. So if you've been seeing that you haven't been able to buy any Rare Breed triggers for probably about 2 years now is because they've been involved in a lawsuit with the U.S. government. But they won that lawsuit, and now they're able to start producing and selling their triggers again. So Rare Breed, AS Designs, they have something called their ARC, something rapid control. I don't know, but it's basically an FRT. You even have guys that have 3D printers that are 3D printing FRTs. So, speaking on that note, I'm going to show you 2 of my FRTs that I have on 2 of my rifles. So the first one that I'm introducing, okay, this here is the 300 Blackout. That was part of the 100 viewer subscriber video. Which, don't worry, the video for this is coming. Okay. So this, what I have on it now, is an example of one of the FRTs. Okay. So, as you can tell, okay, let me flip it to the other side so it's easier to demonstrate. Okay. Right here is my FRT. This is my safety selector. All right. This was 3D printed one. All right. And it's a push pin. So basically, it's kind of like if you've ever owned a pump shotgun, really any type of shotgun, where the safety is always a button. It's just a push button. Okay, this is how this FRT was. 3D printed by a guy that I bought locally. Okay, so as you can see right here, I'm going to try to demonstrate as best I can. Okay, this is the push pin. So right now it's pushed all the way to the left. So that's in safe. Try to pull the trigger. No action. All right. I'm going to demonstrate pushing it all the way to the right. Okay. So it's indented all the way to the right. So now, as you can see, this is semi. This is a semi mode. So I pull the trigger. Okay. Charging handle back. Trigger comes back, resets. One more time. And the trigger resets there. Okay? So that's semi-auto. Now, if I indent it towards the middle here, like so it's indented on this side. Oops, sorry about that. It's indented on this side. Okay? Now, this is the FRT mode. Okay? So, how FRTs operate is that, again, kind of similar to binary triggers, it resets after you release the trigger. But the thing with FRTs is forced. Okay? So, for example, let's pull the trigger. God, this is hard to do, okay, without a proper demonstration. But, there we go. Okay? So, pull the trigger, pull it back. If you can see, the trigger came back without reaching the full brake. So, I pulled it back, pull, so forth. Okay? So, even as I pull it all the way back, all right, now my trigger's locked up because I haven't reset it. Okay? So, if I go to try to put it in safe, it's not going to do it because it's got to reset itself, hence the force reset. So, because it's a dead trigger now, I've already fired it, it's not going to fire again. Okay? Because it relies on coming back. All right? You can pull it again, dead trigger. All right? It's a force reset. So now, it's reset itself. I can push it back in safe. And now my trigger and my firearm is safe. All right? So that is a push pin FRT. Now, the next one that I'm going to talk about is a company that I just talked about that has their own FRT design. And of course, this is my PSA Saber, my baby. All right. It has a 3. So the FRT that's in this one is an AS Designs ARC trigger. They call it. They call it their version of an FRT, which it is. So what's different about theirs is just a traditional safety lever. All right. So as you can tell there, it's a 3-position one. So if you can tell, it's in safe right now. If I move it up, it's in semi. So I go to push. Goodness gracious, this is hard to do. So I go to push. All right. So that's semi. Okay. Now, if I move it to this 3rd position here, this is their arc position / FRT mode. Okay. So when I go to pull it here, try to give you a good demonstration. Okay. If I do, oh, goodness gracious. Like I said, this is hard to do on camera. I have videos that will be hopefully better explanations of it. But here we go. So here, okay, and oh, see it has a brake there. Okay, I'll pull it again, and then if I were to pull back my slide, it would do the exact same thing. All right, now this is also the same as if I try to go back to safe. It's not going to do it because it's still stuck in that FRT mode. So of course, got a rack. It's racked, and then you can move it back into safe. So those are the 2 types of different FRTs. Now we're finally getting to the why. Okay, why FRTs? Do they have any type of tactical advantage? So again, the reason behind not only FRTs but bump stocks, binary triggers, other ways to try to simulate automatic fire. Mainly for enthusiasts, it's another fun way to do it. But some have also seen it's a tactical advantage. So having an FRT in your gun just really depends on the person. For me, I do have FRTs in my rifles because, you know, I do want to have fun, but I think I can also be able to train with them and use them in kind of real situations if need be. You know, where if I feel like I need to get suppressive shots down range and, you know, it's not getting done in semi, I can switch it to the FRT mode and kind of simulate that I have automatic fire going on depending on who I'm around. Again, I'm out in the country, but it could happen anywhere. Things can happen anywhere. So that is why I believe FRTs can be used as a tactical advantage for people that train, civilians more so. Just because they do have a tactical advantage if you train them properly. But nonetheless, I do believe that FRTs are here to stay. Like I said, Rare Breed has been the first manufacturer of these types of triggers to go through litigation with the U.S. government and won. Because again, it doesn't simulate automatic fire. Because again, with automatic fire, anything with automatic fire, you're holding the trigger down and you're holding it doesn't reset itself until well after the round's been expensed. So when you're pulling that trigger, you're holding it down all the way to its break, to its wall break. With an FRT, you're hitting that break, and then as soon as you let go, it's literally a quick reset, bumps you back, boom, boom. Okay? So it's nothing like automatic fire. You're not holding down the trigger, because if you hold down the trigger, you'll even see in one of the clips with my 300 blackout is I ran into something what's called a bolt bumper. Basically where because I held the trigger down, the bolt kind of locked up the trigger, and it didn't allow for me to pull it until I re-racked another round. So that can happen if you hold down that trigger all the way to the wall. It can lock up that bolt, which is why a lot of manufacturers recommend you go with like an H2 and H3. The 3D printed one, the guy told me to go H2 or H3, and I actually got a adjustable carbine buffer, Odinworks adjustable carbine buffer. So I went with an H3 in there to really make sure that, you know, the blackout isn't bumping everywhere, doing a bolt bump. And ARC recommends you go with at least an H2 if you're going to do ARC or FRT mode. So luckily the PSA Saber already comes with an H2 carbine buffer. And again, I didn't have any problems with it. You'll see in the video, in the clip, that I didn't have any problems with the ARC trigger. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Talking about FRTs again, what they are and why. So again, I believe they're tactical and everything else. I think again, in the right hands, they can be tactical if you train properly with them. So if you feel like you need to go out and get an FRT, go ahead and do it. Or anything that can simulate automatic fire, go ahead and do it. But make sure you're smart about it. Don't be don't be a dumbass and try to modify your AR by changing out the sear pins in the lower. Okay? Because one, people are going to notice. Two, why do you want that attention? Okay? When I say people, the federal government's going to know. They're going to know. So yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions on the FRT. Let me know what you guys think. Hit like on this video. Hit that subscribe button. We're at 163 right now. So the more y'all keep subscribing, the more this channel grows and more stuff we'll be able to do. And that's what I want to bring to y'all. So again, this has been the Burke Armory. I've been Jamar Burke, and I will see you when I see y'all. Peace. Today I'm doing an FRT test. So I have two different FRTs. So you can see here, this is the one that's on my 300 blackout lower. It's kind of the push pin one. So right now it's in safe. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on camera, so that's why I have to do it this way. But first thing we'll do is put 5 rounds in semi. So for semi, it's going to be all the way to the right. So I'll push it all the way there. Also would help if I took that off. All right. So let's do semi. Also, these are super round, so it's not going to be as quiet, but it is what it is. 3. All right, now if I go towards the middle here, it's kind of halfway in between. So I kind of kicked back a little bit. Should have expected a little bit more of that, but that's FRT. Was my blackout experience a little bit of what it's called kind of a bolt bounce. So because I had it in FRT mode, sustain it very well. So we're going to try these last couple rounds. Alright, it's back in FRT as you can see. This time I'm going to try to be a little bit more controlled with it. And that time was a little bit better. So that's the first time I experienced it with this one. Alright, now, yeah, there we go. I've got my baby here. This is my PSA Saber, so 13.7. And I just installed a FRT on it. This is the AS Designs ARC. So it basically is a 3-stage trigger. So there's safe, semi, and then the third position, which is their ARC or FRT position. I'm gonna do the function test here to make sure it runs as it's supposed to. We've got 21 rounds here. So first 6 are gonna be in safety.
or semi rather. Oh gosh. All right. So it's really a function test to see how well this trigger is, first of all. So we're gonna do 6 shots. Okay. All right, now let's go FRT mode. Oh my, this is so controlled. Wow. Whew. Wow. Man, that is a super sweet trigger there. My God. Love it.